right, now we're going to deal with some practice exercises that go along with section H in chapter 8. For some strange reason, if you go into dashboard, you'll see them listed as practice exercises for section 8, but the first ones are misidentified as chapter 8G2. But nevertheless, these are the right ones for working on indirect proofs. The basic idea behind an indirect proof might seem a little odd or maybe counterintuitive at first, but all we're going to do is assume that the conclusion is false, show that leads to a contradiction, and then infer that the conclusion must be true. Right? So true things can't imply contradictions, so if we assume something and it leads to a contradiction, we know it must be wrong. So here's the idea. This one has, first exercise here, has two premises. First one says if C, then D. Second one says if C, then not D. And I can tell you already that C must be false. If C leads to not, sorry, first one should be not, should be just if C, then D. No tilde there. But if C leads to D and C leads to not D, C can't be true. It leads to a contradiction, and we'll see that fairly shortly. The conclusion we're supposed to reach is, in fact, not C, that C must be false. So what we're going to do here is we're going to assume, for the purposes of an indirect proof, right? So assumption for indirect proof, that C is false. It's going to be just like conditional proof, so we're going to have to indent over because we're making an assumption, something that's unproven. So we'll say line 3, and we'll say assume C. Right? We're going to say, basically just saying here that we're assuming that this conclusion, not C, is wrong. One way of saying that is C. You could also say not C, but C is simpler. And we'll say that's our assumption for indirect proof. Right? From C, with modus ponens, we can get D using line 1. And our assumption here, line 3, modus ponens. Likewise, though, we can also get not D. And that's using line 2 and line 3, again, modus ponens. And now to make the contradiction clear, we simply have to use conjunction. We have D and not D. Something's true and it's not true. And that's going to be from lines 4 and 5. Conjunction. Right, there we go. Now we've reached our contradiction, and so I can close off this indirect proof and come back over and say, aha, my initial assumption here, C, must be wrong, so not C. And that's going to be lines 3 through 6, indirect proof. All right, there you go.